Music from Auntie Helen's thrift store in North Park filters into the back room, where substance use recovery groups meet.
Hello, Julia.
My sober date's 8/23/01.
Most are former members of the Live and Let Live Alano Club Recovery Center in Hillcrest, a prominent LGBTQ plus neighborhood.
It was safe. I was able to be myself. I was able to speak freely and openly about my addiction problems and the fact that I am a gay person.
Hoover says that often wasn't the case in heteronormative recovery groups elsewhere in the city. Another former member, Alexis Gabrielle, echoed this.
Sometimes when we walk the streets of San Diego, we do see the people on the side of the street that are down and out. I was one of those people.
She found Live and Let Live a few years ago.
I was able to find a safe place when I was feeling uncomfortable, and by doing so, I was able to work on myself very deep. I call it my 911.
A lifesaver. Many former members say the same, that Live and Let Live was often the thing standing between them and using again. It was open all day, with a wide range of recovery meetings, not just for substance use. Volunteers were always around to talk. Wearing a sparkling gown and crown, Alexis Gabrielle tells me she learned a vital lesson there.
That we can rise from where we were before without shame and hold our heads high, but the door's closed.
Live and Let Live didn't own the building. San Diego rents began to skyrocket, compounding already existing financial trouble. After nearly 4 decades, they closed last fall. The dozens of support groups scattered throughout the city to locations that weren't as well suited. Many say downtown locations trigger their urge to use again. Churches can carry baggage. And while Live and Let Live was nearby, many now have to take buses or walk long distances to get to meetings. It doesn't always feel safe, they say, especially with recent anti-LGBTQ plus legislation across the country.
I'm personally tired of always having to look behind my back, over my shoulder, on buses and walking.
He says meeting attendance dropped sharply after Live and Let Live closed.
They've all dispersed and they've gone away. I was like, wow, I couldn't, it was shocking.
Auntie Helen stepped up. It used to be a laundry service for people living with HIV/AIDS at a time when many refused to even touch their clothing. It's offered support to San Diego's LGBTQ plus people for decades. Management allowed some of the displaced recovery groups to clear out the back room and move in 50 chairs and a podium. But the space closes as soon as meetings end. It doesn't offer the same anytime safety net of a recovery center. That's why Heather Pato is now searching for a permanent home.
I am actually one of the unusual people who doesn't do the pronoun thing, because I did 20 years in the military where I actually had to use they, them, their, and things to kind of disguise my relationships. So it's sort of like an uncomfortable thing.
Pato didn't feel safe to enter San Diego's LGBT center. But Pato did feel safe to attend Live and Let Live, where the association with LGBTQ plus people was maybe less obvious to outside observers. There, Pato could be rigorously honest, one of the core tenets of recovery. Pato and Pato's partner launched a nonprofit and are now hoping to own a building to replace that lost space. They plan to name it the Lambda Uptown Alano Club. Lambda as a nod to the symbol of gay and lesbian rights, Uptown as the intended location.
With all the high-rises that have been built in the Hillcrest area, a lot of the LGBT community has migrated more toward North Park.
They say they've asked local leaders about unused government buildings, but haven't heard back. When I spoke with them, they didn't know that Auntie Helen's is about to close too, on December 31st. The owner told me after 36 years, the rent is more than they can afford. He says he negotiated for the groups to have continued use of the back room. Katie Hyson, KPBS News.